So while you read the induction, I just kind of went on a stream of consciousness, mind exploration. And first, I felt a weight like a weighted blanket. In fact, very much like my weighted blanket at home. And only the weighted blanket was sentient and alive. And so I immediately knew that I was being lovingly held and contained in your energy and in the energy of the collective that we personify down into a beingness we call Toth, whom we have been speaking to often and assisting on his or their path of redemption and ascension transcendence. And then while I was being held perfectly contained, my mind just wandered and I saw my mother. And then I saw a wormhole, and it was like a vacuum. It was a vacuum of a wormhole, not quite a living consciousness portal or an organic portal. I was being shown the false tears and rips and rapes, literal rapes of the fabric of space, time, space, the organic creation of Mother, Father, God, of us, the violation from the abyss or the phantom matrix or the lower astral or all, any and all of the above. They all use a similar technology, false technology, to create these tears that they use as portals. And part of my work as a depth quantum energy practitioner is to close these all the time, close and collapse them. So I'm just wondering where they're taking me, and I'm waiting and allowing that to settle. Somebody, Toth, wants me to add for the anthroposophy crowd and associated theosophists and others who have been dabbling in those paradigms, we would add the phrasing of the eighth sphere. And this is how the eighth sphere beings and entities access our realm. However, I'm being reminded to add that DNA functions as a micro portal, and beings, people, because of DNA tampering, frequently have many, many, many thousands of micro portals within the encoding of the DNA. And that this too is something that you and me and Yael and others now specialize in assisting and addressing and healing on a micro level. Thank you, Toast. So I'm still zipping around. I'm being shown these false portals that are such an annoyance. Humans have to stop this. I'm being shown that this thing that I'm always saying about these things are able to access us because of the state of the collective heart of humanity is absolutely correct. And it is, we are beyond the point when we can say, oh, but I didn't know. I didn't realize that this was happening. I didn't know that this realm was parasitic. I didn't know that I was energy extracting from everybody I claim to love. We are beyond the point of excuses. That is the theme of today's BQH. We are beyond the point in time for any excuse from humanity to be accepted as reason and validation for the current state of the collective heart of humanity. Pretending, because that's exactly what this is. There is no trauma-based mind control that can keep you from your remembrance, that can keep you from your knowing. While we would never seek to minimize any of the horror, terror, and trauma events that many humans have endured, we must repeat again. There is no event, there is no harm that can keep you from your knowing and remembrance if you choose it. So the movement is stopping. I was zipped around in, they're saying like a holographic or kind of a simulation of how these the tears that are the violation of organic, natural, universal, divine structure and law. So that's slowing, and we're in a place, and the sand is black. It's night or it's dark. The sand is black, very, very, very dark, smoky gray, beautiful sand. Night. There's a source of light. It is like the moon. I don't think it is the moon we see in our sky here. And there are stars, but these stars are very clearly the reflection of the brightest carriers of the most divine, original source light in whatever this place is. It feels volcanic. There's something about the quality of the black sand that the transmission is saying this needs to be considered as volcanic. Okay. There is a sleeping volcano a little ways in the distance ahead of me and to my right. It feels Hawaii, it feels Lemuria, but it's not exactly. I'm going to go see what's going on at this volcano, if anything. There's a massive crab. Is that right? Yes, a crab, a massive crab, a red crab. It kind of almost looks cartoonish, almost like the crab character from Little Mermaid that was her friend, but it's not. It's alive. Everything's alive. Everything is conscious, intelligent, and sentient. Everything is imbued with the soul of the Creator, the divine, intelligent mind of God. The crab seems to be leading me toward this black sleeping volcano. And now Bear is here. Bear is our friend, walking with me, just hugged me. Bear frequently in some lineages represents matriarch or mother. Bear performed my shamanic heart dismemberment. The volcano is opening into a different realm. It just became a portal. I walked right through the side of it. Think of it as an organic portal or as a hologram, because all of these physical realities are simply holographic. So I've gone through, and now we're swirling Crab and Bear and me, and the Toth energy that has wrapped me in the most contained protection through you. We're swirling, and now we're arriving. It's a jungle, and like a jungle, maybe a rainforest. Hmm. This this is an early template of a plan for this environment, this type of like biosphere. It is a mock-up. However, everything in it is real. It's a trial. It's a testing. And so everything's alive, and the trees and the plants are all singing and in communion with one another and happy. I hear a monkey or something that sounds like a monkey. And instead of water, what flows is the liquid plasma love I know so well from our other work. And it's the creation medium used by the cosmic mother that I also am, and that archetypal energy that I connect with so easily as one of my other quantum existences. Liquid plasma love instead of water running through waterfalls of liquid plasma love, iridescent, beautiful. I'm just asking if there's something here that I needed to see. Bear and this big crab. You want me to put my hands and hold this. I'm supposed to hold a ball of energy and collect and gather. There's an attunement happening into accessing even more of this medium. Aldebaran or Aldebaran, however you say that, as I'm gathering this liquid plasma love, there's a transmission coming in about all of those annoying groups that we keep encountering in quantum clearing work, whether it's the one we see in the sky or some inverted reality version that they come from. These people's, these groups, these regressive, fallen groups are responsible for many of the false inorganic wormholes. The gathering of these more advanced, higher level codes regarding the accessing of this liquid plasma love are going to come in a very meaningful and helpful way for the continued work we do in quantum clearing. There is also a message being transmitted by the liquid plasma love about the joint session that we did and gratitude for our facilitation. And we need to say more, talk privately about the other part of that message coming in. It's private. I'm just gathering this energy and receiving these attunements. Oh, I'm supposed to say that at the beginning during the induction, I was led to like wiggle kind of like this. And I actually am glad that it hasn't continued through the whole session, because for a moment I thought it might, and it was, I felt there was immediate removal of some dense energy that was trying to permeate my, not just permeate my field, but access the back of the sacral, kind of the base of the spine. And I felt it fly off and transmute immediately. Thank you, Toth. The energy collective of the expanded, evolved, and evolving version of Toth, the energy collective of Toth, is who I work with and speak to, not the fallen versions, of which there are many. And the energy streams I'm speaking to right now would like me to share that those who watch and listen to this need to be aware that because we're quantum, multidimensional, multi-locational, people must come into an understanding about how these energy beings work at any given time. The one I'm being asked to use for an example is, quote, Archangel Michael, quote, Archangel Michael. At any given time, we have millions of people, probably people who use terms like starseed and lightworker, which are words that are so riddled with parasitic thought forms that they need to be wiped from your vocabulary. all these people thinking that they're working with Archangel Michael. Meanwhile, they have not ascertained whether they are working with a legitimate angelic or a egregore, false light thought form, or complete trickster, faker, lower astral copy. And if so, if they are working with something that's less than the evolved and expanded divine source energy expression that may be going by some kind of an angelic name, all work facilitated with and by through a being or energy that has not been vetted as its highest, most evolved, expanded version has to be reviewed. It must come up for review. The beings I'm with right now are continuing. We are one another pushed out is another thought form that we must be cautious with, because like most catchy things, like most catchy things, there's some truth to it. But thinking that you are God or that you are everybody else and there is no harm and there are no parasites is harmful. I'm just integrating this liquid plasma love that they had me gather in the attunements, and I need to move for a minute. So, oh, thank you. I'm just settling back into this. There's a couple of true angelics right now present who are addressing some of the long held, like pelvic hip imbalances that I have had. They're working on them right now within the quantum. It's very interesting to watch, and it distracted me from the other thing that I was saying. And I'm hearing, never mind that, they got the idea. And it's probably something that I'm already always on about anyway. Feel free to say, feel free to ask questions in the comments. I am free to either answer or not answer, but if it was a topic that you're interested in that I didn't expand upon enough, do feel free and we can direct you to other writings or other videos that share more on a given topic. Yeah, so they're like, of course, using the fibers, the primary substance. Akasha means primary substance, and it is the most prevalent dynamic that I work with. I'm a living conduit stream for the Akasha spirit, and I'm watching these angelic beings using these beautiful luminous filaments of the primary substance, which is consciousness, which is love. And they're like weaving and kind of doing like some sewing, almost sewing repair work in my lower back and hip region. Very, very interesting. This is for you and I to be observing and be in awareness of, because this is a technique that we are being asked to incorporate into the work we do and facilitate when we are doing clearing and repair work. So we need to know that we can repair with the primary substance, the Akash, which is spirit itself. herself, their self. And we need to be prepared to come into incorporating that into our work pretty quickly. Thank you. Okay. We say we're done. We're done in this jungle, this prototype jungle with liquid plasma love present instead of water. And we are done with the healing repair work at this time on my lower back and hips. I'm being told that that will take a little bit of time to integrate down into the physical, but within the next 3 days, there will be much more alignment and less of a tendency to rotate or shift. So I was frequently having rotation or like a shift that wasn't ideal. Thank you. Just thanking everybody who facilitated this. Bear and crab are going to stay in the jungle place. Interesting. Or not, at least not come with me and the other energies that are present on the next part of this. And we are on like what looks like an actual rocket ship. Like if a kid were to draw a rocket ship picture, that's what we just came onto a rocket ship, And you are here blended with the collective of Toth energy. So it's kind of like both and all. And we are now laughing, having a good joke because we all know that this kind of technology doesn't actually fly anywhere, at least not here on 3D Earth. Consciousness is the vessel. And while there are ways to cheat and go against universal decreed and declared law by tearing rips and holes and false portals into people and into places, into space, time, and time, space, that is not what we do. We travel via consciousness. And it is only the organically souled, SOULED, of the angelic human who can traverse these realms and layered, stacked, stepped, bleeding and blending realities through the portal of consciousness, through the awakened, compassionate heart, and the technologies that have been developed to subvert, to go around that, to try to make another way, always, always have a consequence. So that scene is fading. They said, we're done here. That was the part that needed to come through for that, related to that. Be very, very wary of those who talk about being astronauts or those who I am supposed to plant a seed that Space Force is not outer space. It is the space here. It is the digital space. It is the internet, the net, as opposed to the organic creator creating creations web of consciousness. that the false net is based on. Be aware that many of the things we talk about as related to SSP, harms these people remember and have endured, are very, very real, but they're not traveling on rocket ships to go to these places. It is much more complex and simple than that. We must acknowledge what is in order to alchemize it and create a better way and build the bridge of consciousness and love back to ancient future Tara Earth. We must reject the malevolent high blood magic and trafficking, cosmic problem of trafficking. We must call it what it is. And I'm saying this to you as the priestess in one of the Atlantean eras. One of the final who could perform parthenogenesis. She knew then, we know now. She tried to stop it then. The transhumanist agenda, making of chimeras, the trafficking, the deep, deep harm, the theft of human genetic material, the raping and pillaging of organic angelic humans. I've written about this before, and it's resounding. It's like a choir, a chorus coming in for me to remind everybody that Atlantis is now. New old Atlantis is right here, right now. We are all in place to right the wrongs that we allowed. Too many chose cowardice and looked away. This time we must not look away. We must not look away. We must see it for what it is so we can immediately create something new, different, better. The collective heart of humanity needs to come into account. The chorus is continuing again, something that I say frequently about we can find entities, we can find implants, tracking, whatever. You can take all this stuff out all the time. But until you address whatever access points, your lack of accountability, your lack of awareness, your inability to commit to the deep work of the inner process of alchemy that we came here for, as both as individuals and as a collective of humanity, those things will just keep coming back in. The only way to both personally and massively shift things is to do the work of radical accountability, responsibility, and authenticity, and to do it in love and in grace. And I'm seeing now again Just a beautiful, this would be Pythia. So I'm back to Pythia, one of the realms that I've spoken about before. That's really lovely, and the flowers sing. And I am hearing many loved ones' voices, but looking at an embodiment personification again of Thoth and also Ra. And that was who was kind of delivering some of this. They would like me to suggest for anybody who might be new to watching some of my work that watching the video titled BQH Thoth and Quantum Shamanic Hypnosis would be important linked quantum exploration sessions. There are beautiful red flowers that look kind of like tulips, much larger. We don't have these quite here since we're in a different place, but I'm actually supposed to gather some song energy. There's a specific song frequency that they're singing into my hands. Yes, and now we're being told to go to the pavilion for community time. So while I'm doing that over there or there, now that I've received the song codes and activations, I'm supposed to turn to the camera and give them to you because they're actually for you. This is a transfer for the person I'm doing this session with. And some of these need to go in the throat, and one needs to go in the high heart. And then the final three need to go into the right side of the sacral. So that is good. Okay, we're having a Pythian pavilion potluck is the name or what I'm being told to share. And again, some of the same people that we connected with last time. I went to the beautiful realm of Pythia. The consciousness ship is there. So this particular star arc that we are familiar with, there's a few of them that are legitimate consciousness traveling devices that are created as an extension of consciousness. One of those is there. Many of the people that we have identified in our alchemical healing and energy work circles in physical reality are there as different versions of themselves. I guess it's important to note that there's a large red bird that looks like a cardinal, but very big, much bigger, that seems to be welcoming everybody. I'm just tapping in, tuning in, and seeing if there's anything else they'd like me to share. Yes, this feels complete as far as the time. As far as the time, this is about the appropriate time for a collective message. The energy streams I'm connected to would like to thank everybody who participates in listening and considering listening with the heart developing your own heart mind or heart womb or womb heart mind coherence, and considering where, how, and to what extent you are being called as an individual who is part of the collective of humanity into radical self accountability and responsibility, because we are here to do this. We are the shift. And now, Toth and Ra are thanking you for your attention and bidding you goodbye and telling me that we will be connecting with you again shortly through both one of my energy work partners and myself again.